Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the beginning of the newest playthrough of the channel, that being Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. This has been a long time coming, and we're excited to bring this to you.
Wait, what version of the game are we doing? This doesn't look like the Sega Dreamcast version that has superior graphics and less glitches.
He's playing it on his Xbox One, since apparently he wasn't aware of the PC mods that make this game better.
Guys, can we go 30 seconds without complaining and just let the introduction scene play at least a little bit?
If only Perfect Chaos actually looked like this when fighting him at the end.
Yeah, Open Your Heart always gets me excited.
Yeah, Amy always gets me excited.
Oh, this is going to be a long playthrough, I can tell.
I hope everyone is as excited as I am, since this is going to be an amazing experience.
I have to say, Barack, you didn't sound all that excited before that title screen. Maybe Play HT just doesn't let you be all that expressive.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I'll go over how this playthrough is going to work in more detail later, but I'm going to start a new file up and begin playing the game as Sonic, since he's the only one you can start with.
As long as I get to play as Amy later on, I don't really care what else happens.
Just another peaceful night at Station Square with helicopters incredibly close to buildings that would be much more of a hazard than anything it's chasing down.
Oh yeah! This is happening!
In case it hasn't been obvious, we are going to be pausing our dialogue on occasion, similar to the scenes in our Kingdom Hearts and Metal Gear Solid playthroughs, to let the story play out more organically.
What's up?
You are completely surrounded! Surrender yourself!
I wonder how they would put handcuffs on something that's mostly made of water.
Lock on target, men! Ready? Fire! Oh no! Our weapons are useless!
So they just start shooting him with Chaos not actually harming anyone enough to warrant a firing squad, and then give up immediately after. I know I typically back the blue, but not here. Although if I'm backing up Chaos, I suppose I technically am backing the blue in a different way.
All right, guys, there's a lot to talk about right off the bat. To those viewers who are unfamiliar, this is the first real 3D Sonic game released for the Sega Dreamcast, although this is being played off the Xbox One for an easier way of recording it. The game features the homing attack, which, while first appearing in Sonic 3D Blast, is much more useful here and is great against pretty much any enemy, and main boss fight, including Chaos Zero here.
We talked about it a lot more in that Sonic tier list a while back, but Barack really likes this game, while Joe and I are not as big of fans, even though we think some of it is fine enough. I'm sure we'll have a lot to go into detail about throughout the playthrough.
Barack, this fight is taking a while. Are you almost done?
Yeah, he just jumps up a lot, so it takes a while, but we're about done, then we can move on to...
Barack, we're not even 5 minutes into the playthrough and you already died at the first encounter with arguably the easiest fight in the whole game. If this is an indication on how well things are going to be for however many parts this takes, then we are going to lose all of our subscribers and I'll probably get impeached a third time.
If that was me who failed, then Donald would be telling so many Sleepy Joe jokes by now.
Okay, I will admit this was not my finest moment, but this is just a one-time thing. I will be coming back without any issues with later fights, probably.
I doubt it.
Come on, you big drip. Where you going?
Not one of his best one-liners. I get what he means by a big drip considering chaos is made of water, but there had to be something better than that.
Yeah, don't get away from me, water guy.
Actually, big drip doesn't sound so bad anymore.
I've wondered for a while how the brain of chaos or whatever he has there goes through like the rest of him. Seems like it wouldn't fit to go underground.
I have no idea.
You know nothing, fool! It's Chaos, the god of destruction!
It's Dr. Eggman snooping as usual, I see.
Huh?
Seeing Tails about to crash the tornado isn't a great introduction scene, even if it does set up the reason Sonic goes through the next level.
Though sleeping just like Sonic would be a perfect introduction if you were in the game.
Tails! Now, what am I gonna do with you?
Okay, everyone, in case you aren't all familiar with the game, at this point there are various hub worlds we'll be going through that allow each character to explore it, and this gets updated as we move further along the story. There are usually a few things we can find to make it worth exploring a bit, rather than just moving the story along.
Yeah, Barack, this isn't exactly a new game. I'm sure the people watching this are aware of how to play it by now.
Okay, fine, the majority of people watching this probably know about the game, but there are probably those few people who haven't played it that just want to see how we think about the game. So I think it's helpful for me to go over how things work when we get to those points.
That's good and all, but these normal-sized people must freak out when they see Sonic and his friends look so much different than other animals.
I think they should, since Sonic and his friends are so vastly different in proportions compared to other characters. More importantly, we're off to Emerald Coast. This is probably one of my favorite levels in the series rather than just this game. It's a great introduction to the new 3D gameplay where there's a lot of open terrain that gives you room to get an idea of how Sonic feels, but also has some level of the player still needing to be careful with the water he can sink in.
I have to agree with that, even if I'm not the biggest fan of this game. It is pretty fun even in repeat playthroughs with all the unique sections. I'm not sure how this is possible to traverse as a human since we were just at a realistically built hotel a moment ago and now there's springs and launch pads, but it's still fine enough.
I did like this level too, even if I didn't like a few sections. An upcoming loop here can be kind of glitchy sometimes, and I've fallen at the part with the whale a few times too. Still one of the better levels in the game.
I know what you mean for the whale, but I don't think I've had any problems with that loop up ahead. Sure, I've seen some other players have them fall through it, but that's just never happened to me, so I'm not sure what's going on there. See, I made it through just fine, no falling through anything either.
You'll probably fall at the part with the whale though.
Nah, I'm about to make it through no cap. Okay, there might have been some cap there, but I made it through this time.
I have to say you losing lives on the first boss fight and first level are not good indicators for the rest of the playthrough. I have a feeling you're going to get a game over before Windy Valley at this rate.
I know how things look, but I'll be fine. I won't be getting any game overs or anything like that, so don't you all worry.
I'm kind of worried about that actually. I mean, I never failed this much during my playthrough of Metal Gear Solid at all. And sure, it's a different game, but it's not a good start for you at all.
I have to agree with Joe here since you are really messing up more than you should. I'm not sure if you're just out of practice or something, but you need to not keep dying so much.
I get where you all are coming from, but know once you see my gaming skills come back, you will all be sure that I am the one who can get through Sonic's story most efficiently. If there's one person who can play Sonic Adventure well in the history of people who have existed, it's Barack Obama himself, which is me. There will be no more doubt of what I can and cannot do.
That's nice. Hey, editor, skip ahead to where Sonic dies next.
Okay, doing that seems to really undermine the point I was making about me being able to handle this game fine enough. Also, did you really have to skip ahead like that?
Yeah, Joe and I were actually discussing this and wanted to try and change up how we edit the playthrough, or at least a few videos in it, making it a little closer to a highlight reel, since admittedly some parts of the game aren't always interesting to watch while we're talking over them. So we figured we'd cut out a little more when not much is happening. Of course, if the people watching don't like the approach, then we'll probably just change it back soon after.
So to all the viewers, please let us know what you think when you see the video to say if you like it or not, and not just to raise up the engagement, even though that helps too. That will let us know what to do best.
Glad you're okay. What happened anyway? You're too good of a pilot to just crash like that.
That was a test run using a new prototype propulsion system. It's got a few bugs to iron out.
The audio mixing here is really weird since Tails is getting drowned out by the music that seems a lot louder than it should be.
And the sequel makes it even worse.
Ta-da!
A Chaos Emerald!
Yep, I just happened to find one of the Southern Emeralds during one of my test fights. This thing's got unlimited power, you know. So
If it really had unlimited power, then he should only need one of them. Maybe I'm looking too deep into his word choice.
you gotta come over to my workshop, Sonic. I've got something I've gotta show you. It's in the Mystic Ruins. The fastest way is by train. Let's go!
So guys, I was wondering if we were going to be talking about any recent events to us now. I was thinking we could maybe talk about those posts about Elon Musk telling everyone that Donald was on Jeffrey Epstein's list. I thought that was quite a surprise when I saw it.
Now that was all fake news he came up with since I didn't want to invest in his electric cars or whatever he was telling me about at the White House a while back. I wasn't on those logs that much. In fact, the only time I was, it was to practice my skydiving skills, so I went on his plane, but only to jump out and not to go to that island he had.
That is definitely Cap, but more importantly, it's Dr. Eggman.
Talking egg!
Silence! I am Dr. Robotnik, the greatest scientific genius in the world!
Whatever you say, Eggman!
Enough! I've got big plans, and now I'm gonna put them to work!
I bet if he put his legs to work, he wouldn't need that egg mobile to carry his 600-pound stomach all around. Forget Dark Gaia, this guy can split the world open by jumping off from a trampoline.
Or else what, you big loser?
Or else I'll take them from you by force! The hard way!
Hey, that reminds me of the time I took the election from Donald a few years back. I mean, nothing, don't look into that or anything.
Is he going to fight us, or are we just watching him float around? All right, like I was saying earlier, yeah, I went on the plane, but it was only for skydiving and an occasional bungee jumping experience. You all may be wondering how exactly it's possible that I could have bungee jumped from a moving plane instead of something more stationary, but I was just built different, so it worked out for me. I went straight down and straight up while the plane was moving, then went up perfectly. Only defied a few laws of physics to make it possible, but I did it.
Barack, I know it's hard to believe, but I was actually on that island and saw it when it happened, so Donald is actually telling the truth.
I don't really want to think about the idea that Donald somehow bungee jumped in a moving plane, and also that Joe was on Jeffrey Epstein's island, so I'm just finishing this fight and moving on.
Yeah, that's probably for the best realistically. I don't see any way I can improve this conversation at this point.
That wasn't so hard.
Aha!
Oh no!
Come on, Chaos! Time to eat!
Come on, fastest thing alive, I'm sure you can just run and take it back rather than just standing there and watching this happen.
Oh no, isn't that the same monster I saw the other day?
Oh, yes! It's just as the stone tablets predicted!
That line stood out to me, as I'm pretty sure there's no actual stone tablet that mentions chaos or anything similar. Even if there was, it hasn't shown up in the game yet, so there's nothing that really makes sense about him talking about a tablet.
In him, he'll be invincible! And work for me! Together, we'll destroy Station Square! And on its ruins, I'll build Robotnik Land, the ultimate city!
Even though I really like this game, I'm really not sure why he's so focused on making his city at Station Square specifically, as if there's no other places he can do it.
Maybe he just really likes the view of the ocean.
Sonic! We can't let him get away with this, can we?
No way, Tails!
Without more emeralds, the monster can't transform. So, it's up to us to get the emeralds before Eggman does, huh?
Speaking of collecting the Chaos Emeralds, is now a good time to talk about Donald bombing Iran?
I am completely at a loss as to how you think now is a more appropriate time to talk about that, but to answer your question, no, we are not even going to try having a discussion about that for a variety of reasons. The main one being it's not really a great topic to discuss while having Sonic Adventure in the background, as if those two fit together at all.
Yeah, that might be getting a little too real for our gameplay sessions to talk about outside world events.
All right, yeah, that makes sense. I guess that could be a little much now that you both mention it.
On a more fitting topic to the game, we're starting up Windy Valley right about now. I'm not really sure how the wind statue affects the gusts going going up, but it seems to work well enough. I've always liked this stage, and each character has a different enough experience to make it worth going through more than once.
I don't know about that one. Sonic is fine since he goes through the most of it, but Tails literally skips the first section and flies over the entirety of the stage to where he can do all of it in one jump, which is admittedly fun to do, but not exactly challenging. Then again, maybe we can talk about that more when we get to playing as him.
I kind of like this place since there's a lot going on and it's fun to get taken up by a tornado than having to climb up various pieces but fall down way further at the end.
It would be even better if the tornado actually looked like the Dreamcast version, not like all the updated ones where it looks so much worse like most of the game's graphical choices.
Oh, come on, it doesn't look that bad. Although I agree that changing a lot of textures in the DX version wasn't needed, and some do look worse, I don't think it's really enough to say it looks bad altogether. It would be nice if there was at least an option to change it without modding, but the consoles don't have that as an option.
Okay, maybe they don't look bad entirely, but I still stand by the tornado being way worse than it was before. That's partially due to the lighting as well, which even better textures can't fix. It just looks too clean and sometimes shinier in some models to where it looks really unnatural. Sure, the output of the game is better than the Dreamcast, but the actual presentation just isn't as good by comparison.
All right, fine, the tornado doesn't look as good, I'll agree to that. Joe, you haven't said much in a little while. What are your thoughts on the graphics?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about Amy Rose for a while. I haven't been paying attention to anything you all have been saying.
I don't know what else I should have been expecting at this point. I can only fear what we're going to do when we get to play as her. We're probably going to edit out most of the playthrough if Joe's going to get all weird around her.
No, we should edit nothing out of her video, and I'm going to spend 7 hours in each level to be sure I get the most out of her.
Guys, I don't think I can do this playthrough if Joe is going to go nuts at the idea of playing as Amy Rose for any period of time.
No, we need to keep going since we've barely started, so it wouldn't make sense for us to just quit, even though I am not looking forward to all of the sounds Joe will make and all of the nonsense that is bound to happen, but we have at least 3 characters to go through before we get to her.
Oh yeah, I'm going through her if you know what I mean.
Joe, she's like 12, you can't say that.
She's also a hedgehog, I don't see your point.
Can you two talk about literally anything else before we get demonetized from this conversation?
That is a fantastic idea, Donald. Maybe we should actually talk about the stage that we're almost done with. This area after the tornado is my favorite part since it lasts the longest and has multiple ways to go through some sections, but even the more linear parts feel great to go through when Sonic doesn't get stuck on the side while running down, which happens from time to time.
Yeah, that collision issue really does look weird. I mean, it isn't really that bad or even something that slows him down that much, but it does ruin the spectacle of watching Sonic run so quickly down the path. Then he gets stuck on the side and can't get to the end as quickly. I've never had him come to a complete stop or fall off, though.
You are right indeed, Donald. If I can stop getting hit by a car, I do just want to mess around a little bit here before getting the next item. We'll be getting the Lightspeed shoes, but there is some person outside that you can just pick up and move around. I'm not even sure if he's an actual person or just a statue, but either way, it's funny to see him go wherever you'd like him to, and he can even hold up traffic for the cars that come by.
I feel like there's a joke we can make about someone standing out in front of a road and blocking traffic, but I'm not clever enough to think of a good one, so let's just not think about it too hard.
We are not going into that here, Joe. There is no way that conversation would end up being a net positive for anyone here. Anyways, there's an emblem in this shop, and some guy who probably has nothing better to do with his time than serve nobody else here, since people don't really travel much in this game. They're either in vehicles or are pretty much stationary.
A shiny thing.
Now you've got Lightspeed shoes. Press and hold the action button to store up power.
Are we going to talk about Joe's reaction to the shoes? I've never heard anyone that excited about shoes than him just now.
I think we should let it go.
Rings at Lightspeed. As long as there's a trail of rings, you can go just about anywhere.
Sorry guys, sometimes I just get like that when I'm thinking about Amy Rose, which is pretty frequent.
Do you think you can hold it together for the rest of the video, or are we dealing with even more of that?
I can probably do it, but no promises at this point.
That doesn't really make me feel better, but that's still better than I was expecting. I think we can finish up after getting the next power-up and going through Casinopolis.
Sounds good. I tend to get this before the Lightspeed shoes since it's a fun challenge to do it without. Not really all that helpful, but still feels good to do.
I'm all right after seeing a shiny thing this time.
This is the crystal ring. This reduces the time needed to store power for the Lightspeed dash.
I'm not even sure why this is a power-up to begin with. I'd think it would make more sense to just have a lower amount of time for the Lightspeed dash from the start. I mean, it's not hard to get or anything, but still odd how it wasn't just condensed into one item.
I'm not sure why either, since there's another item coming up later on that also changes how it works, but could have all just been one item without much of a problem, though it won't be until next time we play this. Although now that I think about it as a businessman, it would be more profitable from a sales perspective to just keep making additions to existing products and charge more for them, rather than just make one really good item. It's like Apple and continuously making more phones that improve slightly and making you pay for an adapter to get a headphone jack or a really expensive plastic stand. Maybe this design choice was actually really good.
I've never really thought of it that way, but that is an interesting way of looking at it. I'd say the concept is fine enough to just have upgradable items rather than have everything be collected all at once. More relevant to the actual stage, though, Casinopolis has a few different ways of obtaining the end goal. For those of you who are unfamiliar, there's a section across from where Sonic starts that has the end of the level. You need to have 400 rings before you can actually reach it. What is most likely the fastest way is going to the pinball machine and losing on purpose after getting just a few rings, then going to the sewers where the majority of the rings will be found. There's a lot of rings, but you need to be careful or you'll lose them all. I suppose you could go and collect them more slowly at the pinball machines, but this is the way most people will likely use since it has some actual exploration to it. We're cutting out some of it though, since it's just a lot of going up the air and through small passageways.
Hey guys, I haven't said anything in a while, so I was wondering if either of you have actually tried to get all the rings at the beginning without going to the sewers.
No, I'm not a big fan of this level, so I always take this route just to get it done more quickly. It's not really bad, but I don't get why there's the ring restriction when Sonic can probably just do a spin dash off a ramp to get up top, and Tails can just fly up realistically and make this all pointless.
Yeah, I think I got it that way one time a while back just to see how it went, and it was way slower, so I just go to the sewers. I think the level is okay, but there's not many alternate paths in the main section where you'll probably be spending, and Donald's right on the idea of the level being pretty pointless even if it is unique.
I've always done it the normal way too, since I just never cared for the pinball machines at all. Glad it's over with now.
This is one of the levels I like the least towards the beginning of the game, so I'm happy I'm not the one playing it right now.
There will still be a few more parts before anyone else plays, so you will at some point for Knuckles or Tails.
Yeah! Hey!
I find it great how Sonic just gets snuck up on by the most noticeable thing in the world while the background music just abruptly cuts off with no attempt at fitting into the next song.
Eggman.
Oh man, what happened to that emerald we just had?
Okay, to be fair to the game, we edited out that part of the cutscene where it's just a white screen that time. So it wasn't that abrupt when playing the game normally, though.
That means his 2 to our 1, and that's not good.
We're about done for the day, so thank you all for watching today.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more.
And peace out, people.